Have you ever studied English for months, maybe even years, but when you try to speak, your mind suddenly goes blank? You know the words, you studied them, but they disappear at the worst moment. Today's story is about a man who forgot English words not because he was weak, but because he was trying too hard. And when the pressure finally disappeared, something surprising happened. Before we begin, subscribe to this channel and listen until the end, because this story may explain exactly why English feels so hard for you. Chapter 1. Arif and the Fast-Fading Words. Arif was 27 years old. He lived in Bandung, Indonesia, and worked as a junior office assistant in a small export company. Every morning, Arif carried the same heavy feeling to work. It wasn't about money. It wasn't about his boss. It was English. His company worked with foreign clients. Emails were in English. Sometimes meetings were in English. And every time his manager said, "Arif, can you help with this English email?" his stomach became tight. Arif had studied English for years. School, private classes, YouTube videos, vocabulary apps. But something strange kept happening. He learned new words at night, but the next morning, they were gone. Not slowly gone, not after weeks. Gone. In hours. He would read a word like schedule 10 times. He understood it. He repeated it. But when someone asked him, "What is the schedule?" his mind became empty. Arif began to think, something is wrong with my brain. Chapter 2. Studying harder, forgetting faster. So Arif did what most people do. He studied harder. He woke up earlier, he wrote vocabulary lists, he memorized 20 new words every day. He tested himself again and again. But the more he studied, the faster he forgot. At work, when his manager spoke English, Arif's heart beat faster. His hands became cold. His face felt hot. He didn't hear the full sentence. He only heard fear. What if I answer wrong? What if they laugh? What if I look stupid? When Arif tried to speak, his voice became weak. Sometimes even simple words like because or already disappeared. After meetings, he felt tired, ashamed, and angry at himself. One night, he sat alone in his room and said softly, "Why do I forget English words so fast?" Chapter 3. The Advice He Didn't Expect. One weekend, Arif met his old friend Booty at a small coffee shop. Booty had worked abroad for 2 years. His English was not perfect, but he spoke calmly and clearly. Arif finally asked, "Booty, can I ask you something?" "Of course," Booty said. "I study English every day," Arif said, "but when I need to speak, I forget everything. How did you remember words so easily?" Booty smiled. "I didn't," he said. Arif was confused. "What do you mean?" Booty leaned back and said, "When I was in Singapore, I forgot words all the time. But I stopped caring." Arif frowned. "Stopped caring?" "Yes," Booty said. "I stopped testing myself. I stopped trying to be perfect. I just used English to survive." Arif didn't understand. "How does that help memory?" Booty took a sip of coffee. "Because memory hates pressure." Chapter 4. Pressure was the real enemy. That sentence stayed in Arif's mind. Memory hates pressure. That night, Arif searched online. He read about stress and learning. He learned something new. When the brain feels danger or fear, it focuses on protection, not learning. Arif realized something painful. Every time he studied English, his brain felt like it was under attack. Tests, deadlines, fear of mistakes. English was not a language anymore. It was a threat. No wonder the words ran away. The next day, Arif decided to try something different, something risky. He decided to stop studying English seriously. Chapter 5. Learning without pressure. Instead of vocabulary lists, Arif watched simple English stories on YouTube. No subtitles, no pausing, no repeating, just listening. At first, he understood very little, but he didn't stop the video. He told himself, "It's okay if I don't understand." At night, he listened to English podcasts while lying on his bed. No notes, no goals, just sound. At work, he stopped preparing perfect sentences in his head. He spoke slowly, he used simple words. Sometimes he made mistakes. Nobody laughed. Something strange happened. Words started to come back. Not all at once, but naturally, without pain. Chapter 6. The moment everything changed. One day, a foreign client visited the office. Arif's manager asked him, "Can you explain the delivery process?" Arif felt the old fear for 1 second. Then he remembered Booty's words. Memory hates pressure. So Arif relaxed his shoulders. He spoke slowly. The product, we send it by sea. It usually takes 3 weeks. The sentences were not perfect, but they were clear. The client nodded and smiled. "Thank you," the client said. Arif felt something warm inside his chest. Confidence. Not because his English was perfect, but because his mind was calm. That evening, Arif realized the truth. He didn't forget English words because he was bad at English. He forgot because he was afraid. Chapter 7. Why this happens to many English learners. Arif's story is not special. Many English learners face the same problem. They study under pressure. They learn for tests. They learn to avoid shame. But language does not grow in fear. It grows in safety. Children learn language without grammar books, without exams. They learn because they feel safe to make mistakes. Adults forget this. They try to control language instead of using it. And the brain says, "This is dangerous, let's shut down." That is why words disappear. Chapter 8. The simple lesson. Arif didn't become fluent overnight, but his memory improved. Not because he studied more, but because he worried less. He treated English like music, not math, like a friend, not an enemy. And slowly, English stopped running away from him. If you forget English words when you speak, please remember this. Your brain is not broken. You are not stupid. You are just under pressure. Remove the fear, and memory will return. If this story felt familiar, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who struggles with English. You don't need more pressure. You need more peace. And when peace comes, English stays. Thank you for listening.